Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So today I'm going to be showing you this really easy homemade dog food that I've been making for Frenchy. He has been loving this and it's been working so well for him, so I'm excited to share it with you guys. So the first thing that you want to do, of course, is cook your meat of choice. I always use ground turkey just because it sits the best with Frenchy's stomach. And I use about 3 pounds of ground turkey, which is 3 packs of these. I always get the green wise because it's the most lean. You want to get as lean as possible for your puppy so that you don't have a lot of extra grease. And as you guys can see, I just cook it in my Instapot. I do the meat option and it takes about 20 minutes to cook in here. You can also cook it on the stove if you want, but I just like doing it in this. And I'm also adding about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It's completely safe for dogs and it just helps to cook the meat. And then once I have that on top of the meat, I just mix it around a little bit and I'm going to put the lid on top and let this sit while I prep the rest of the food. So next up, we are going to cook our grain. I just like using whole grain pasta, but you can also use brown rice or whole grain oatmeal. And I'm just filling up this pot with water so that I can boil it. And I use about 2.5 cups of this whole grain pasta. You can also use elbow noodles, you can use the penne noodles, you can use any noodles you want as long as it's whole grain. And this just takes about 10 to 15 minutes to boil. So while that is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep our fruits and veggies. Now I based the fruits and veggies that I included in this homemade dog food based on the fruits and veggies that were in Frenchy's manufactured dog food. It's just better because you know exactly what's in it. There's no preservatives, there's no byproducts. It's just straight fruits and veggies when you do it yourself. So I always use 2 organic zucchinis. Initially, I was slicing the zucchinis before putting it in this little machine to shred them, but then I figured out that it's not really necessary to slice them first. I just went ahead and used the whole zucchini and pressed it in and it chopped it the same way. Also, I prefer to slice them or shred them like this because Frenchy doesn't really believe in chewing his food, so I like to make it as small as possible so that he doesn't choke. I got this little contraption off Amazon, so I'll make sure to link my Amazon store down below so you guys can find it. It's really good. So I'm also going to use 3 organic carrots. Of course, you want to cut off the stem pieces and then I just smash it into this little machine and it shreds it so easily. Frenchy loves carrots. Carrots were one of the main ingredients in most of his previous dog foods that I used to give him. They're great for vitamin A, potassium, fiber, and tons of other vitamins and minerals. I also just slice a few pieces of butternut squash. I don't do the entire thing, just less than half of it really, and I also put it into the same machine and I slice it up. Butternut squash is full of potassium, which is really important for dogs when it comes to healthy function of their kidneys, their muscles, their nerves, and their internal enzymes. Plus it's low calorie, so it's really good for Frenchies because you guys know Frenchies can get chubby fast, so it's really important to use low carbs. You can also use a sweet potato, but I just find that butternut squash is lower in calories than sweet potatoes, so it's just a little bit safer for French bulldogs. Apples are another ingredient that were heavy in a lot of his manufactured dog food that I used to give him. You always want to slice off the skin first. It's not really good for dogs. You also want to make sure to completely remove any seeds, and you don't want to give the dog any piece of the core, so I'll always slice it, and then once the apple is sliced, I also put it into the same machine and I shred it up so that it's easy to digest and apples are also loaded with tons of vitamins and minerals that are great for dogs. They also help to add a little bit of sweetness to the meal since it's a lot of veggies and meat. And I like that they are low in protein because Frenchy doesn't really need much protein because he's already a very built dog. Deciding what fruits and veggies might be best for your dog and their needs might be a trial and error process, but you can also talk to your veterinarian to see what might be best for them. And you also just want to pay attention to what they like and how well their stomachs react to the things that you give them. So now at this point, the meat is complete and I'm just going to open it and I'm going to mix around a little bit to check that it's fully cooked. Then I'm going to remove it from this pot and I'm just going to drain it so that you can get rid of all the extra like grease and juice in there. And then once I remove the meat from the pot and I get all the extra juices out, I actually put the meat back into the pot because I'm going to mix everything together inside the pot. So once I put it back in the pot, then now my strainer is free, and then the pasta is also finished, so I can drain the pasta of the water. And with the pasta, it's also really important to rinse it off as well as possible so that you get all that extra starch that kind of forms when the pasta is cooking off, because you don't want to have too much of that on the pasta because it can be bad for the dog's digestive system. So now it's time to mix everything together. I'm just going to pour the pasta on top of the meat inside of the Instant Pot, and I'm also going to put in the fruit and veggies. The Instant Pot is still on, but I have it on the steam setting and not the cook setting. You want to make sure that you don't have it still cooking, because then you can overcook the meat. You just want to have it on steam so that it just makes it easier to mix everything together, and you also can steam the veggies a little bit. It's not necessary to steam the veggies, but I just prefer to do it because it's easier to mix. So don't touch the pot. I don't know why I had my hand on that pot. I must have a hand of steel because it's really hot. But then you just want to mix everything together, and as you can see, it's looking pretty good, looking more colorful than that manufactured dog food. There's a few more things that we still have to add though. So I'm going to add some organic pumpkin puree. Now pumpkin is really good for dogs for a lot of reasons. I just use about 1 cup of this and toss it into the pot, and then I'll mix it all together. Pumpkin is really good for treating and preventing diarrhea or digestive problems. It's also high in vitamins and minerals, it helps with proper heart function, and it's good for your dog's skin health. So just to show you guys how I would prepare this, I'll always use a 1/2 cup of the food. He gets a 1/2 cup in the morning and a 1/2 cup at night, and Frenchy is about 21 pounds. To make sure that his diet is completely well-rounded, I also add in this organic, holistic Canine complete supplement, and he also gets a teaspoon of this in the morning and a teaspoon of this at night. So he gets 2 teaspoons a day, and this is based off of weight. It gives you the instructions on how to determine how many teaspoons you give your dog or how much you give your dog in a day. I also will throw in just like some blueberries or a banana or cantaloupe or watermelon on the side. You can play around to see what fruits your dog likes. I just kind of base it off of, like I said, the fruits and veggies that were in his dog food that I was giving him before, and he really enjoys these. And that is pretty much it. When I say Frenchy looks forward to eating this, he loves it. Like, he devours it, and he will lick the bowl completely clean. Like with his food that I was giving him before, like his manufactured dog food, he sometimes would leave food in the bowl. He wouldn't eat it all, and now he just loves it so much. He will continue looking for food until it's completely gone. I also don't have any problems with it. Like, he still poops regularly. It's still solid. He doesn't throw up as much as he used to. He really enjoys it. I also find that he doesn't scratch as much as he used to, and he also doesn't shed as much. You're probably wondering, what do I do with all that leftover food? So I just use these little plastic containers. Each of these containers is about 2.5 cups, I think. In total, it will be about 15 cups. And because Frenchy gets a 1/2 cup in the morning and a 1/2 cup at night, he eats a total of 1 cup a day. So this will last about 2 weeks. So usually what I'll do is I will fill them all up, and then I will put 3 of them in the fridge for the first week, and then I'll put 3 of them in the freezer for the second week. And then once I have completed all the ones that are in the fridge, I will put the ones that are in the freezer in the fridge so they can thaw, and I can. Now, I was always giving Frenchy decent food. I was actually giving him the Organics Castor and Pollux brand, which is a really good brand, but I watched this documentary on Amazon Prime called Pet Foods, and it just goes in depth talking about the pet food industry and how pet food is just really not that great for dogs. The way that they process it, the preservatives that they use, how they, package it, everything is just not that great. So it's just a lot safer and a lot better to make your dog food at home. I've already seen the benefits of it, and I just wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's really important, especially with a lot of things, coming to the surface nowadays with the truth behind the industries and marketing, and this is just another reason for you to stay woke. So I highly recommend checking out that documentary. Also, I'll put the full ingredient list in my description box below for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.